I how do I can't invite her. I'd have to do a whole new one. Shit.
That's
Hold.
all right. Let's just do the live, and she can stay in the chat room or something.
Okay. Okay.
Cause we're leaving these people hanging, bro.
Yeah. Okay. So we're live, and let's see. Hopefully, people come in the chat room. We have 0 people in the chat room
Yeah.
right now. Shit, man.
Oh, they dumped us and ran, bro.
Yeah. I have no idea. Last time they didn't do that, and it was simple. I don't have anything connected to it. It was ready to go.
Right.
Oh man. Okay, we got one person in the chat, and that's probably Miss D.
Yeah.
Miss D, is that you or
Hey, babe, we just
or is that Tim K?
Tim K. What's up, Tim K? We're
Yeah.
trying to get this right, bro. So just tell my wife, baby girl, if you can hear us,
Okay, that's your
we're
mom.
just gonna do it, and we're gonna roll with it, cause I don't like leaving people hanging like that. So
Okay. No, your lady's in the chat. Miss D, just stay in the chat room and then we'll just do it from there. Okay. Oh, great. Wonderful. PNG Media News. Thanks for coming to the chat.
all
Okay. So, yeah,
right.
we got
Thank you
PNG
guys.
Media
Sorry
News
for
in the
the
chat room.
delay.
And I'm pretty sure Tim K is going to tap in because he was in there. Okay.
Right. Right. All right. Let's roll.
And we got
Let's roll.
Rafael Del
Outlaw.
Sol in the house too.
All right now.
Okay. So, yeah,
We seen her.
we got 3 people in the chat. Salutations and a Kunshvist salute to everybody. Make sure you hit the like and sub if you haven't already. You read both those books, huh? Cool, man. What'd you think of them? Uh, on my end, my visuals is 2 books. It's a stack of books that I have, but I have 2 of them that are visible. And the guy in the comment section, Rafa Del Sol, said he read both of them. So
Right on.
oh, it
Right on.
Miss D. I started the live and it didn't even allow me to do a link. So Brant said we're just gonna do it like this, and we'll figure it out, I guess, for next time. That way we don't leave anybody hanging, and we'll
Yeah.
just get started.
Yeah. Cause I don't want to have the people just sitting there like that.
Yeah. Oh, hold on. Give me 1 second. Talk to everybody, Brent. I think someone's coming out.
What's up, everybody? What's cracking, everybody? I hope you're well.
Okay.
Tap in, hit the like button, go check out Solid Behind Blue Eyes on YouTube. Hit the subscribe, and share the message, man. We talking about this corrupt bullshit CDCR. Get involved, join the conversation, ask questions. I won't cross no lines. I ain't supposed to. So, other than that, I sent mine. I send mine to everybody. Can you guys hear me? Can they hear me?
Yes. Can you guys hear Brent? I mean, they hear me because they're responding to the comments what I said. So, and you're closer to the
Okay,
mic than
good.
I am.
Okay, then
Yeah.
they can hear us.
Yeah.
Good. Good deal.
I don't have no fancy gadgets. Nothing. I'm just using the iPhone and the iPhone mic. So hopefully we sound pretty good. Yeah. Miss D says you can that she can hear you. Okay, guys. So
All right.
we're gonna get
Cool.
started. We're gonna get started with our first topic of the day. Today is probably just gonna be an hour long live, and I wanted to give Brent thoughts and opinions on the $1 billion that ICE awarded private prison industries to detain illegal immigrants in private prisons. Well, the illegal detention centers for the immigrants, which are being run by private prisons. You want to let us know what you think about that?
Oh yeah, man. They're putting in people in prisons that is for the convicted and sentenced, and I think it's wrong. Straight up, I think it's wrong. I think it's a taxpayer money grab. They were using the BOP, Bureau of Prisons, and the feds as well to detain people that were not sentenced. And it's definitely a different environment for people that are not sentenced. They should not be held in a state prison or a federal prison for the post-convicted and sentenced. That's just my opinion on that one.
Now, I find it interesting because I mean we have this whole thing about that these illegal immigrants are putting a burden on the country, And according to Trump, that if we get them out, it's going to take that tax burden off the taxpayers. But in reality, if these individuals are being incarcerated and not really being deported, and that $1 billion is coming out of our tax-paying dollars, so we're actually paying to not only arrest these individuals, incarcerate these individuals, but they're not deporting none of them, and the burden is actually becoming worse on the taxpayer instead of actually leaving these
Right.
individuals working. I mean, over 90% of them aren't really criminals, leaving them working. Half these individuals pay taxes out of their tax dollars and never get anything at the end of the year when it comes to taxes. So the government not only has cheap labor, but also a bunch of tax money that they don't have to pay these guys at the end of the year. But instead, they're incarcerating them, and we're picking up the tab. I mean, worse than it was before.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
If they're gonna deport them, I mean, what they're doing is they're putting them in prisons and
Making them
charging the
work.
taxpayer to take care of their health care, their housing, food, medical, all the whole thing that a person needs to survive. Hey, I got to call back, bud.
Yep. I mean, right now they're incarcerating these guys instead of creating a quick process to deport them back to their home countries. They're actually maintaining them, and we're picking up the burden because us taxpayers are the ones that are paying that $1 billion. And the reason I bring it up is because this whole deport illegals and incarcerate them in the detention centers didn't really become a factor until 2015, when not just California prisons, but United States prisons started decreasing their population. So, I mean, these private prisons were not allowed to function incarcerating individuals anymore. So now they found a new person, a new vulnerable individual, the illegal immigrant. Let me. What do you guys think, guys? Do you think that it's fair that these guys are being incarcerated and held in detention centers instead of deported, and then we have to pick up the tax burden?
I'm back, bud.
Okay, yeah, I got you. Yeah, I was just talking to them, letting them know about how after the settlement in 2015, when prisons started decreasing their populations, how the ICE and started incarcerating individuals more.
Right.
I mean,
It's just another burden on the taxpayers.
Exactly. Since they're no longer able to incarcerate criminals at a mass rate, they picked another vulnerable class of society, the illegal immigrants, and decided, hey, well, let's incarcerate them because no one cares about them, and really, their support system is in another country. I mean, there's even some of these children are even who are allegedly being put in foster care are actually being put to work at 7 days a week on like fucking slave labor. They're working at egg farms, and they're working on all sorts of different plantations.
That's crazy.
I mean, children.
That's crazy as hell.
Yeah, children. I mean, come on, dude. That's fucked up. And, you know,
right.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
They're already being held away from their parents. They should at least, hurry up, deport them. Let's minimize the burden on the taxpayers, deport these people back, and get them where they need to be. But they don't, you know what I mean?
Yep, exactly. That leads us right into this next topic, bud. It really does. They obviously spin really reckless, right? Think about it. They indicted us on a bunch of RICO charges, like I said before, a bunch of RICO charges that were all trumped up charges, and spent millions of you guys' money on a bunch of dudes that's got multiple life sentences. Multiple state life sentences. And what they do, nothing. They did absolutely nothing but give a guy got 5 life sentences one more. But it costs like $10 million per person. You know? So that shows you their reckless spending, right?
Exactly. I mean, we could be doing way more. I mean, why not spend that money and actually helping get some of these individuals get citizenship? The ones that, hey, aren't criminals, the ones that would be considered productive
Mm-hmm.
citizens, or uh, assimilated citizens, because that's really what they mean when it comes to citizenship. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
we'll give you citizenship if you assimilate. You know what I mean? Basically, if you know what I mean, break and let us remold you into what we want you to. But I mean,
Right.
I'd rather see my money spent on helping them become citizenships than knowing that, hey, and these individuals are being incarcerated for like 2, 3, 4 years, and like you said, without being
That's
charged for a crime,
outrageous.
without being charged for a
That's
crime. That would be illegal if you were a
that's
U.S. citizen.
that's outrageous, man. That's outrageous. 3 or 4 years, deport the people in 30 days, 40 days, get it done and over with, cut the burden on the tax dollars, man. That's just not right, man. And if you look at their history, especially California, when it comes to wasting tax dollars, I mean, look at all the homeless people, man. Right?
Exactly.
Look at all the homeless. I go downtown Sacramento County for federal and to the federal courthouse, and underneath the bridges of the freeway, they got tent cities, dude. I mean, they got whole fucking cities under these freeways, so people can shelter their tent from the elements, the rain and shit. And
Yep.
it's like, man, with half of the money they spent on all our RICO cases, they could probably house every fucking homeless dude in Sacramento easily. Not even half. Maybe $10 million, right? They can figure it out, but they don't give a fuck,
No,
man. That shit's reckless.
and what's
That
sad is
shit's
that
reckless.
I want to say about like 20% of it, or maybe even more, 20% of the homeless
Mm-hmm.
people are ex-military. I mean, these guys are
Right.
military veterans.
Yeah.
I mean, and they're
Yeah.
not even
Yeah.
like, we're not even trying to help them. You mean, like, I hate hearing
Mm-hmm.
people talk about being patriotic and honoring the military service people, but hey, there's a shitload of them that are homeless. As a matter of fact,
Right.
I believe they're more likely to commit suicide than they are to be killed in combat. What are we doing about that? Like, you know what
Right.
I mean? We just let them go homeless. We leave them on the streets. We don't help them. These guys should be having at least a studio apartment rent free paid for them. You mean for after
Every one of them.
exactly
Every one of them.
at least those guys for sure. The people who served in the military. You know what I mean? Like, that's fucked up.
Everybody. Yeah. Everybody that's done service, man, military service, should not ever be homeless.
Or hungry.
That is fucking
Or
nuts.
or hungry. No, for sure.
Or hungry.
No.
Or hungry. Right. Right. Right.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored
They
and recorded.
they could definitely spend the money doing something better.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's why, just, like I said, man, it segues right into this other topic I wanted to talk about, man. And, they spend all this fucking money on us. And me and my wife constantly talk. What's their end game? What's their end game with all these RICO indictments? Okay, at first, it was death penalty. Federal death penalty. Second, once that came off the table and Joe Biden took office, because he vowed to never go after death penalty. Once that came off the table, now they moved the goalpost. They moved the goalpost to a more restricted housing environment in the feds. Okay, so the goalpost, it shifted 20 yards to the right. Okay, so now it's over here. And now it's like, we're happy with just getting into the feds where cell phones aren't so readily accessible. We're happy with this right here. We're taking these dudes to the feds, making a more restricted environment so they don't have cell phones at their disposal so easily. Well, now look what happened. Oops, BOP don't accept the California state prisoners no more. Well, find something else to do with them. So, come on, man. Let me get a couple extra of those if you got some. Thank you, bud. Excuse me, man. I like tangerines. They gave me some tangerines, man.
So
My bad.
they want to
So,
remove you. They want to remove you guys. So to break off your communication from cell phones. But I mean,
mm-hmm.
how's that gonna stop when, according to the prison boogeyman fairy tales, you guys have telekinesis powers to send messages through
Right?
behind prison walls?
Yeah, hey man, let me say something. I'll just be straight up with you and everybody. They are not stopping nothing. That's all I say. They're not stopping shit. And it's they move the goalpost all the time when it backfires and it don't work out. They move the goalpost, and that's the trick, you guys. That's the fool. That's tomfoolery right there, man. It's old school tomfoolery. Yep.
Yep. Now, we're talking about wasteful money, and how much money did they spend to do this RICO case on you guys?
About 100 million between our case and the Fresno case.
Okay. And how much money? How many millions of dollars did they seize from you guys' assets?
They didn't take shit from us.
All right.
Because we don't have shit.
Okay. So how many metric tons of illegal drugs did they seize from your criminal operation?
According to their DEA agent, who was proven to be a piece of shit liar, there wasn't no metric tons. It was a couple ounces or a pound or something like that.
Okay. So the reason...
And it had nothing to do with me or my co-defendant, Ronnie. It had to do with their snitch, a dude named Travis Burhop, their big-time snitch,
so,
who was allegedly the plug. Yep.
Yep. So the only individual in this case that was actually moving weight was an individual who had been working with law enforcement or prison authorities for years before he even just allegedly flipped, right?
Exactly.
Okay, so the reason why I want to kind of clarify that up and bring it up is because I want people to realize that our government spent how much on this case again?
About our case up here in SAC, probably about 50 million. Down in Fresno, another 50 at least.
$100 million of our taxpayers' dollars were spent, and what we got in return was a couple of ounces.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
The actual guy who was selling the weight got to walk away with the money and is probably still selling drugs wherever he's at right now. Correct?
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
I just want that to sink into you guys, who like people who like to invest in your stocks and bonds, or like entrepreneurs. Imagine investing $100 million, going, hey, I'm going to invest $100 million, and I know my return for the taxpayers' dollars is a couple of ounces and a few fucking prison shanks. That's what we got back in return for our $100 million.
That's it. They haven't done shit, bud.
I just think of like, they probably could have done the same case with $100,000 and probably still would have got the same outcome. And,
right.
But,
right. I mean, like that case down in Fresno, the case in Fresno, my friend, those guys didn't even put up a defense. They were like, get this done and over with, send us back to the prison. Fuck you, let's go back to our life. I mean, because it's like, what are you going to do to them? 3 of them got multiple life terms. Like, who gives a fuck? Right? I mean, it sucks to say, but it's just the truth.
I think they just see you guys as easy prey. It's easy to pick you guys out. You guys are already isolated from society, so you can't fight back. You have no open platform. And even if you do have an open platform, it's not as big as their platforms, who fucking through repetitive fucking regurgitating their lies, indoctrinate everyone to believe it. I mean, but it's real easy to pick you guys out who's already doing multiple life sentence and just say, hey, here's your boogeyman, here's the kukui, here's why this is where your money is going. And it's like, that's crazy, because people should know how much money is going into building these cases and what the outcome is as the money. Like, we're basically throwing $100,000 away. $100 million. We literally just threw away of taxpayers' money. What we could have
Yeah, to
done.
do nothing. What?
What we could have done to fix our infrastructure. Hire more police, right?
Right.
Isn't that what these guys want? They want to increase their budget again so they can have more police and hire new staff and new guns, new tech. I mean, we could have used that money to hire more police. I mean, more school teachers. Maybe create new jobs. That's crazy. Brent, you still there? Or did you hang up? Well, I think he hung up on us. Yeah, he hung up. He'll be right back. What do you guys think about that? How how much money they spent of our taxpayers' dollars to convict these guys, and in return, if we were to put a price on the amount of drugs and money or whatever was seized, you're you're looking at probably like
Hello, Moto.
we'll be nice and say $50,000. So for our $100 million,
This is
we
Global
got
Friendly.
$50,000 in
Prepaid
return.
calls from
Right.
an incarcerated individual at the California State Prison for Provo, California. This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call.
And we're laying off people right now, right?
Dial 5 now.
Our government's laying off people, and they're just throwing away $100 million like that. That's fucking ridiculous.
All right, I'm back. Yeah, that's crazy, bud. That's crazy as fuck.
Yeah,
Right?
that's fucking nuts, bro.
Okay, hey.
Yes.
Hey, Outlaw, real quick, right? I want to talk. I want to mention something here. I'm not sure if it's 100% legit, right? But me and my wife heard that California Uncensored, I think it was, the other day about an incident taking place with Southside and Northside in the business room in Salinas, and the guy, I guess he tried to say a bulldog got off on a Southsider and a North Daniel in the visiting room in front of families, kids, ladies, elderly folks. And have you heard that shit, Outlaw?
No, I have not. But I'm gonna look into it.
Yeah. Yeah, so we heard it, and I don't know if it's true, but anything that goes down in the visiting room like that, whoever did it is a piece of shit. Because the visiting room is a sacred spot of peace. It's always been a sacred spot of peace for family bonding and fucking being with your folks. And like I said, the video that we heard on California Uncensored, I believe, said a bulldog attacked, or he got off on a North Daniel and a Sureño. And I don't know if it's true or not, but what I'm saying, if it is, if anybody ever does that, you're a dirty piece of shit, man. Because now, all these kids and the elderly folks and our women are not ever supposed to see that. You know what I'm saying? Ever. That shit is wrong. So check into it. I'm not saying it's true. I'm just saying it's time to do some homework on it.
How about we'll both look into it and we do a live on Friday and we talk about that. Okay, so let's talk about that. Let me ask you a few questions about that. Now, so you're saying that they're saying that the bulldog started the assault against a Southerner?
Right.
And now
they're saying he took off on a Southerner and a North Daniel at the same time.
Oh, so he took off. Okay. So now can I
This
ask
call
you
and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
Can I ask you, are the Bulldogs part of the end of hostilities?
Nope.
Nope.
They refuse.
And do they receive certain favoritism or just get a little bit more action than a regular inmate?
Yep, they sure do. And here's what happened. They had an opportunity to join the end hostilities. and they refused. And so we're like, okay, well, fuck you then. As soon as you start acting out of pocket, you know, it is what it is. Well, uh, and I don't know if it's true, but I'm saying it happened before in that visiting room there at Salinas, and I'm pretty sure I know the guy that the bulldog hit with the chair back in 2016. He's a good friend of mine. I think you know him too, Mr. Outlaw.
Yes.
I, and but I'll find out, and we'll let you guys know. And if this actually happened, a recent event down there, incident where it was in the visiting room, that is a PC move. That is a PC move because the Bulldogs must have heard that they're getting ready to mix the Bulldogs and put them on the yard with everybody. And they do shit like this because they feel the administration's about to make some changes or something. And, they do shit like this right here. Now, so I wouldn't doubt it if it's true. I wouldn't doubt it if it's true.
Okay.
But we heard the video, and I'm saying anybody make a move in the visiting room like that on another man is a fucking piece of shit dirtbag. Because that's a sacred spot, man. Yeah, I just wanted to say that real quick.
I agree. I'm glad you brought that up. I'm glad you brought that up because that's right when you said that. I was aware that the Bulldogs aren't part of the end of hostilities. And I've noticed since the end of hostilities, they've almost acted as like saboteurs. It seems like they're always instigating.
Mm-hmm.
They're always instigating beef in order to maintain violence or to get you guys to react. Because I mean, the end of hostilities doesn't mean you won't defend yourself. It just means you personally
Right.
won't be the agitator or the instigator of the hostilities, but you will defend yourself.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. But they do that shit because they're scared to go with other prisons. Like, how is it that any one group gets a whole yard to themselves with one other race? It's the blacks, right? So they yard on C yard upper side in Salinas, and it's just blacks and bulldogs. They don't have no Daniels, no Sureños, no whites. We're on the lower side, and they keep, they tell the administration, you better not mix us. You better not mix us. You know what time it is. You don't ever supposed to tell that type of shit. You just do it and get off. Do what the fuck you're gonna do. Don't talk about it. Be about it. So, well, they talked about it, and then I guess now, he must have did. I don't know if it's true. It may or may not be happened in the visiting room, man, and that's wrong. You don't do that in the visiting room. Now, I heard some other shit, down there in Lancaster, somebody slicing their old lady's face open in the visiting room. That is some dirtbag shit to do, man.
But I mean,
you don't do that.
To me, I would not give it behind the corruption that they would allow somebody or foster that to happen so they could sell their boogeyman illusion.
Oh yeah, right. And they would instigate it. The cops, the administration and the dirty undercovers, they would instigate that type of shit and support it. So it would it tried to sabotage the end hostilities. Saboteurs, obstructionists is what we call them.
There was a.
But yeah, this
There was a Bayview article. I forget when it was, and it was with a nurse. I think it was a nurse or RN that worked at Pelican Bay, and it was a male. And this guy quit, and he made claims. He was like, "No, man, they let these guys out on the streets to do specific crimes." He goes that he feared for his life. That he thought his life was in danger. He was a whistleblower. You mean? He didn't go on YouTube, and go befriend other snitches. But Yeah, this guy said like he went on the record and said that they released these individuals on the street with the intentions to do specific crimes.
Right? Right? Absolutely. And why do you think they let them chomos and rapos go? Because they know what they're going to do, reoffend.
Exactly.
Job security.
Oh, for
That's
sure.
called job security. Right?
Well, I mean,
Job security.
I don't know if I mentioned this before. No, that Richard Allen Davis, the one they used as the poster boy for the three strikes law.
Yep.
That guy was a prison snitch. He got out early.
Yeah.
He got out on early release from Vacaville because he snitched on his fellow inmate and his wife, his old lady.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and look what he did, right?
Exactly.
Look what he did to that little girl, man, an innocent little girl, Polly Class. And, and, I mean, this is the guys they protect. This is the guys that CDCR and the government protects, man. There's no accountability for them dudes.
Oh no.
They come into prison, they get all the best jobs. They get all the best programs.
Or they get to become a bestseller author like Renee Boxer Enriquez.
Right. Oh, that leads me to this. I'm glad you brought that up.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay.
The floor is yours.
Well, we were hearing a thing he was talking about with stats, right? And he was pumping these stats out there, man, about the violence and shit in prison and all this staff assaults and it's all fucking the violent numbers are rising in CDCR and shit, right? Well, but what they're not telling you guys is that 90% of that shit is coming off the PCS&Y yards. And I keep telling y'all this, there's a huge difference. They want to punish us and try to find some type of reason to put this in a quasi-SHU program, a quasi-modified GP mainline program, and yet the problem is not addressed. It's coming off those yards, those S&Y, Chomo, Rapo, snitch yards, for no reason. And it's like anarchy. There's no structure, there's no rhyme, there's no reason. So what they're, again, they're pumping these numbers out there, but they're not telling you the details. What yards those are coming from. And then the one guy, what we called him, you called him something, I can't remember, the whistleblower. So he said,
the Prime Minister, CDCR Prime Minister of disinformation.
Yeah, the CDCR Prime Minister. So he said, he brought up an incident at Pelican Bay mainline when allegedly some Southerners got off on the cops. Now, without the details. And there's something in Ironwood without the details. Now, I'm going to give you some details to Pelican Bay. Because I got up there about a month.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
I got up there after I left Salinas for about a week, and they turned me around because they fucked up my transfer endorsement because I had been up there a long time, and per the lawsuit, I wasn't supposed to be back there. So I went back up there, and it had just happened on the main line. So let me tell you the details, though. Two of the same race were fighting, fist fighting. Well, when the cops came in and broke it up and got one of them on the ground, he kept kicking the dude in the fucking head and kicking him in his face, right? Kicking him in the head and kicking him in his face. Well, his homeboy goes, that's enough. He's knocked out. That's enough. Stop. And the cop said, fuck you. And he kept dropping knees now on his head while he was knocked out. So his homeboy jumps up, and the guy he was fighting jumps up and beats up the cop for doing him like this. So you got two dudes fighting, right? And one of them, it gets over with. They get him on the ground, and the cops start kicking him in his head. Well, the guy he's fighting jumps up and gets, tries to get the cop off of him, wrestles with the cop, and then 5 other cops come in, beat him down. 10 other dudes jump. 10 other guys jump up and jump on the cops. 20 more cops rush in. 50 more inmates rush in. So it was the cop that started it. You do not kick a man in his fucking head when he's knocked out like that multiple times. You're gonna fucking get hurt bad. You don't do that. So when they pump these numbers to you guys, and you outlaw everybody, they're not giving you the fucking factual details.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
That is why that happened with the staff at Pelican Bay. A cop kept kicking an unconscious fish fighter, and the guy he was fighting jumped up to help him because it was uncalled for. Let me call back, buddy.
Okay. You guys got any questions right now when he calls back so I can ask him? Just put them right here in the comment sections. Barry Wood, Clinch Fist Salute, buddy. This platform's here for you and everyone else. Make sure everyone's hitting the like and sub if you haven't. Now, what do you guys think about how they manipulate the numbers? Because according to Brant, and I agree, it's about CDCR right now is about 80% SNY and 20% general population. So if all the violence is generally being caused by these major four groups, shouldn't be the numbers be high on that 20%? But in reality, the numbers high on SNY, and it's actually dropped on general population since 2015.
Thank you for using Global Tel Link.
All right, I'm back, buddy.
Yeah, it's really about 80%. I was telling them right now how it's about 80% SNY right now and 20% GP.
Right. Yep.
And,
I think it's even less than that, bud.
Probably.
I think it's 85 to 87%.
There was you know the Behind the Line, right? That crazy fucking weirdo fucking YouTube channel.
Yep.
He did a video where he was fucking using some crazy stats from Texas to try to say that the rate of violence was up. And he brought up a county jail. He was bringing up that the rate of violence in this county jail was up. And I had mentioned in his comment section, I'm like, well, are you aware that county jail is I believe it's 10 plus floors. I want to say maybe 12 floors, but I know it's more than 10. Only 2 floors are general population. The other floors hold PCs.
Right.
I mean, so...
Yeah, I heard that too, Outlaw.
I believe it's that. I believe it's the county jail where one of the SNY gangs actually formed.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it's like, okay...
So,
the numbers are out there. They just don't want to tell you the true numbers.
Right. And me and my wife did a video about him. And about that right there per se. He took some numbers from Texas and he parlayed that into us. We got nothing to do with Texas, dude.
Exactly.
And county jail's a whole different beast. County jail's a whole different beast, man. But that's what I'm saying. You folks got to be careful with these numbers because these people are not telling you like the Pelican Bay move. The cop sitting there beating an unconscious inmate. Well, the guy he's fighting jumps up to help him, and it's like, and then 5 more cops rush in, and then 20 more inmates rush, convicts rush in, and then it just got out of hand. But it's because of the decision of a dumb fucking pig that did that.
Okay.
Right?
Yes. So
and I don't call them all pigs because they're not all fucking scum. But the one that's going to cause that on a volatile 180 level 4 prison, he's a dumb fucking pig. I'll say that.
We have a question.
Okay.
Rosa Del Sol asked if the reason why SNY is so big is that because of the non-designated yards.
Is the reason why what?
It is the SNY number is so high now is because now they have the non-designated program yards.
It's something. Yeah, that might be an element into the problem, but a lot of times here's the problem is CDCR makes it so easy for these dudes to go SNY, and they give them incentives, and a guy gets in dead on the main line, he taps out, goes SNY, he ain't got no repercussions. You don't get drug debts if you can't pay for it. Now I've seen situations where drug debt is used to make it a political statement. So, example, you go to a weak yard, say, hypothetically speaking, these dudes over here look weak, they act weak, they are weak, and another race takes an advantage of it, and then they get together and somebody pulls in, and he's like, fuck that, man, and they do Peter pay Paul just to make the debts even, to make an example. What?
This call and/or telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
But it's called mercantilism. Mercantilism. Economic warfare, like Trump's tariffs.
Yeah.
So sometimes that happens, but a lot of times these dudes are just going PC to do it, and there's no rhyme or reason to it,
Well,
None. They say they want to go home.
Is there ever a rhyme or reason to what a drug addict does? No.
Right.
I mean,
But let me tell you this.
Yes.
They're always saying they want to go home and do their own time. Well, wait a minute. Example being, they've been doing dirty deeds or putting in work before, and then they go over there and they get in more trouble, or they become a weenie whacker, or they become, I can't stand them types, right? I can't stand them. They make me sick, but they do it, and it's all a lie. It's when a guy goes that way, if you listen to that dude Zap's video, it's all everybody's fault but his. It's everybody's fault but his, And that's bullshit. That's bullshit.
Yep. Well,
it really is.
Yep. Well, Raso del Sol, because he's the individual that asked that question. He's also the individual who's read both the books that I have on my screen. On the one book, Chicano Prisoners, which it was published in 1974, but it's actually started in like 1967, 68 when he started gathering the information. In that book, it says as early as 1968 and 69 that about 20% of the prison population would be considered convicts, and 80% of the population would be considered inmates. And he goes, the reason why these groups had to be formed was because there were so many fucking inmates that the convicts needed a layer of protection, a buffer from these. If that makes sense. I don't know if that kind of makes sense.
Right.
But it's weird that to this day right now, it's 80-20, right? We got 80%, which would be considered inmates, 20%, which would be considered GP convicts. And these guys as early as the late 60s were saying that it's always been like that.
Right. No, exactly, man. Exactly. There's a huge difference between inmate and convict, and you pretty much just gave the example right there. Perfect. But, in the 90s, the late 90s, 2000s, CDCR created what you call an SNY-PC vacuum. SNY-PC vacuum, right? Where they would press these youngsters. They would press them, they're going to kill you, man, they're going to kill you, and show them a dead body picture, right? And the youngster sign on the dotted line, not realizing that that's going to affect the rest of his fucking life if he's doing time. If he comes back to prison. And so CDCR created that.
No, I agree. I totally agree 100%.
The layer
that they created, obviously some people just in general, because they're dope fiends, go SNY, but I think they intentionally started psychologically picking out individuals As a matter of fact,
Mm-hmm.
LP Lewis Powell, he in his book,
Yep.
he has a whole chapter on where he lays out how they specifically psychologically started profiling prisoners and started using them, flip them to, and then would use them to go back onto the main lines to foster fucking tensions. And he even
Right.
goes, and then he goes that
Right.
they goes, and it's weird because it meant, like you said, right in the '90s, late '80s, early '90s, 2000s is when they started doing what
Yep.
they did, what would be to you guys on the main line to guys, and then those individuals create would go around telling individuals, hey, yeah, exactly, oh, you're green lighted, or you're on the bad news list, you got to clean it up, and basically put guys in a
Right.
predicament where then they would end up going SNY.
Right. Right. And I'll tell you guys, right here, on one of my last couple videos on Solid Behind Blue Eyes, one of our lives me and my wife did a couple days ago. Here's an example. Uh, there was a fist fight on the main line here between the white boys, and the cops come to my door clowning, talking shit about a fist fight. And I don't care about it. I don't give a fuck. I wasn't there. I don't know nothing about it. I'm in the hole, minding my own business, staying in my own lane. But they're like, oh, you're not using weapons no more, huh? You're not using steel no more, huh? You guys are fist fighting like this other race over here. That's all they do is fist fight. And I'm like, man, fuck you. Get your bitch ass off my door.
Isn't that like Mantorta? How he was making the video claiming that you guys,
Mm-hmm.
you guys were soft because you guys were using the legal system to fight instead of
Yeah.
attacking staff.
Yeah. Yeah, he actually tried to manipulate the game and say that we're soft for taking it to the courts and doing it the legal way, and that we should just attack staff. Oh, and then he mentions that some of the cops are tough guys. Then they're tough too. Man, you think I give a fuck about that? This dude actually believes, I don't know what planet he's fucking living on, but that piece of shit devil dropout, not only is he a dropout snitch, he's a double time dropout. He PC off of PCR.
From a
Now
level
that
two,
tells you
no,
what type of
he dropped
individual he is.
from an out of state level two.
Yeah, yeah. So for anybody to try to encourage real motherfuckers, you need to do this. You should. You guys are gonna take you to the courts like fucking lame. So that's like, who the fuck would do that, right? No real man with integrity would do that. No.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
And I promise you guys this, and I guarantee you, probably all I got in my cell, right? And I put my word on it, that fucking turd, that scum anal slime ball motherfucker would never, ever, ever say that to my face, to Ronnie's face, or to an active man's face. I promise you, that dude would never do that. So he's sitting in some other state, hiding out, getting on there trying to provoke violence against staff, and yet that's acceptable? Now, if that was me, let me tell y'all, if that was motherfucking the one and only true legendary Two Scoops, nah, I'm playing, but if that was me, right, I would have got all types of write-ups. I would have been charged. I would have been fucking probably butt naked in a cell, beat the fuck down, tied up on a leash every time I leave the cell. But it's okay because it's this fucking piece of shit CDCR dropout worker on the payroll for IGI. It's okay. It's acceptable. Give me a break.
That guy's a fucking keyboard warrior. The true definition of a keyboard warrior. I mean,
Yeah,
he
yeah.
spends.
Let
He's
me ask you, Outlaw.
yes,
Let me ask you, bro. You know me a little bit, right?
yes.
Could you see that dude telling me that to my face?
Oh no. Yeah, no.
Come on,
The way
bro.
he lies, and makes up stories. I mean, it says something about your character, bro. Because dude, he's on the level of Wes
Yeah.
Watson. People just don't see it, but he's as bad as Wes Watson, if not probably worse.
Oh
As a
yeah.
matter of fact, we have a
Yeah, because at least Wes Watson would probably smash that little punk.
yeah, that's true.
I don't
I
know.
agree.
Right.
We have a question from
Yeah.
Chucky Justice. Did Wes Watson ever keister a machete into the joint?
Did he ever what?
Did he
What's
ever
the
keister a
question?
machete into the prison?
No. No, that dude's a turd. Hey, homeboy, that guy's a liar too. I've never heard of the guy. In fact, I got a video on the guy called Wes Watson. Who is she, right? And go over there, solid behind blue eyes, and check us out, man. Hit the subscribe and like too, man. Join us. Join out.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
Just get involved. But I never met that guy. I got 31 years in the system, 27 in the shoe. Never met the guy. Don't want to meet the guy. Don't care about the guy. But I had to set the record straight for y'all one time because that dude has never, ever been nowhere where it's serious. Let me call back.
Yeah. Has anyone read the article by Grant Gruber about Wes Watson? Wes Watson, who is he? And then related to the Aryan Brotherhood, how he did an entire story on how Wes Watson's basically telling fictional stories on social media, and how he's basically no one knows him in prison. And I found it funny because there was a section in there where they mentioned that Wes Watson was never once mentioned during the Aryan Brotherhood federal RICO case, but Powder was mentioned several times. So apparently, Powder's more famous than Wes Watson because he was mentioned in the federal case. What do you guys think about that? That Powder's YouTube videos are being used, right, in federal cases. And he's not the only one. Kev Mack's video has been used in court against people too. That's what a lot of these YouTubers won't tell you. And they're not talking
All
about
right.
that a lot of their content is being used to convict people. I mean now Powder's videos and his statements weren't per se used to convict people, but his statements were used to cast people in a specific character or
Right.
paint them to be boogeymen, as Powder loves to do.
Right.
So, I mean, I want you guys to
Right.
realize that, hey, these guys' content, their boogeyman stories, are being used in court. They are. They're
Yeah.
just not going to tell you.
Right. Right. I shut Powder down. I'll take credit for that. I shut Powder's bitch ass down because he's talking shit about my friends. We don't know that dude, right? We don't know that dude. But yet, let him tell it. He was with us, and he knows us, and me and my partners and shit like that, that he's our dog, Ace Boom Coon, right? Man, we don't know that dude. Just like we don't know Wes Watson.
You know what's funny? I'm from the specific area, not necessarily his area, but it's within the vicinity of where we would venture out. You mean? I'm from that. I'm probably
Right.
just a few years older than Powder. I'm very familiar with the area he tells his prison boogeyman stories about running the streets. That specific area. None of us, and we've talked about this before, have ever heard of Wes or a Powder. We were like, who is this dude? We've heard of the crew that he claims to be from, but none of us.
Right.
And we were all like, come on,
Right.
dude, we all network within this area. We network with all these individuals that he's claimed, and none of us have ever heard of him, dude. We would always like laugh, like, dude, fucking, like, they're all little Michael Thompsons, basically. Is
Yeah.
the best example.
Right, right.
They're all Michael
Yep.
Thompson.
Hey, Outlaw, I'll tell you this, man. When he said, so he claimed I was in Sac County Jail on this RICO indictment. Wrong. Never. I ain't been in Sac County Jail since 1995. And then he said I was in Corcoran and had some dude hit in the cell because the dude disrespected me because I got drunk. I don't drink. Wrong. So he's again wrong. So he's telling these boogeyman tales with my name involved, and I told him, you keep hitting shit up, bud, I'm going to put you on the stand. I'm going to put you on the stand, and I'm going to cross-examine you. I'm going to put your face out there for the whole world to see you on a national stage in my RICO case. So keep running your mouth for IGI and law enforcement and OCS, the gang units, and OCS is CDCR headquarters, Sacramento gang units, and they are responsible for all IGI throughout the state. They all IGI throughout the prisons report to OCS. Bottom line, and so these are their puppets. These are their cum socks. Their little dried up cum socks. These are their fucking puppets.
Cum socks, I like that.
Yeah.
We have a question.
That's a prison slang.
We have a question from Miggy Does It. Did you see the interview with Creeper from Northside Redondo on Hoodstocks yesterday? I don't think you saw it, right? Or heard of it?
No. I have to check it out, though.
I didn't see it. I got the feed, but I saw this little comment that they left about where you can contact this individual and left his phone number if you wanted advice from him. And I just want to warn people to be very careful of who you befriend on social media, especially these snitch prison influencers, because these guys are masquerading as fucking counselors, drug counselors, youth counselors. They're embedding themselves into the community, and they're picking on the most vulnerable people that are down and out on drugs, or at vulnerable states in their lives right now. And these people can elicit information, and they're relaying that information to law enforcement. So if you think you're going to contact one of these influencers and tell them, hey, my homie wants me to hold a gun for him, or my homie just shot somebody and he wants me to protect, whatever it is you might say to these guys, these guys are going to tell that information to law enforcement, or like fucking 59J fucking tell the world about it.
Right.
So,
Right.
Yeah, just be kitchen from, because I'm telling you, a lot of these guys, like, look at Flacco from Convict's Perspective, a documented informant, but he also was a drug counselor. Okay, so this guy gets to talk to people when they're strung out on drugs, they're most vulnerable, and he can ask them, who do you get your drugs from, or just when these guys are at the most vulnerable state and they can say shit, and these dudes are using it.
Yeah.
Or they'll
give them some money. When they're dope sick, they'll give them some money for some information, and then the guys run right to law enforcement. It's just, you got to be careful, man. You got to be careful with everybody, and
this call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
Like I said, man, I've been in this shoe a long time. On this one, I got 9 years, and the system's done changed so much in the 9 years I've been in the shoe. On this one, it's something like I don't want no part of this fucking weirdo shit they got going on, as far as this Facebook kind of environment, this Instagram gossip type of shit, and how I do mine is, you got paperwork, show me. You got paperwork, show me. I'll check it out, and we'll go from there. But all the rumors and all the gossip. That's that dude, Jack Off J. That's that dude, Doug. Them dudes are like, all that shit is, you guys got to be careful, man, because them dudes will bite you in the ass.
Okay.
So get your information.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Miggy Does It said, he says that the interview, the guy Creeper was talking about the hunger strikes, and he mentions that the host, Lucky, kept trying to talk, change the subject, more or less, just, draw attention away from that. And he does that. I've noticed every time when he has somebody on his channel and they're talking about the hunger strikes, he shuts it down right away and does not want to talk about that. He wants them to talk about violence, if they stab somebody, who they saw get stabbed, or, if they drank Pruno, whatever they were doing. But yeah, I've noticed that he's had several interviews, and anytime they start talking about the hunger strikes, he fucking completely shuts them down and changes the subject. No hesitation.
Yeah, they're definitely retaliating. They're definitely trying to shut it down. they're definitely retaliating over it, and they're not going to stop, and they're going to use people like that to try to poison the society with a bunch of contorted narratives and twisted narratives and lies. And I heard the other day with that fucking rapo boxer. And what gets me is this: is the minister, YouTube, whatever his name is, swear to God he don't fuck with people with R's on their jackets, right? Well, that guy's a rapo, man. He got an R on his jacket for sodomy or something like that, man.
He allegedly caught a case while he was incarcerated for trying to sexually assault his cellie. So he's a homosexual
he was trying
predator
to
too.
get up in his cellie.
Yeah.
Right. He was trying to get some of them guts, man, some of that prison booty. And he got charged for it. And yet the other guy, the YouTube minister, swears to God he don't fuck with people like that. And this is what bamboozles me about people. I get it, and I dig what he's doing by going after Sacramento and the corruption. But, dude, you gotta be careful doing that shit, saying you don't fuck with them, and next thing you know, you're hanging out with them. You can't, I don't know. I respect your get down as far as blowing the whistle and letting us all know how Sacramento CDCR falsified.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
They falsify documents, they lie on prisoners, they this, that, and the other. But god damn, man, when you say you don't fuck with sexual predators, and then you do, like, oops, man, I don't know what to tell you. That's a bad look.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. Well,
that would be like me having an S and Y on my channel. Or me talking with a piece of shit. Really?
CDCR is known for doing that. I mean, I when you guys, in this live's over, I want you guys to Google Enrique Sandoval, Chino Institution for Men. And this guy, I think, was like the early 80s. This guy was in jail for molesting children. And then I think he killed the parents of the children that he molested. Okay, this guy was in jail.
Right.
This guy got taken out to get private haircuts by barbers. They would take him out to buy him clothes. He got his own prison wing. I mean, this guy was treated like a king. There's an old CDCR movie, a propaganda movie that they made called Ya Basta. It's like a fucking the pre-American Me movie about like the prison gangs, the Mexican prison gangs.
Already.
Yeah. He's the fucking actor in there. He's the goody actor that doesn't get involved in the gangs.
Right.
That's him.
Right.
The guy that plays that role is that fucking the guy who molested children. They fucking treated him like a king until a big scandal broke out that he was treated like a king, that he was allowed to go to the kitchen and do whatever he wanted. He basically had free reign in the prison.
Right.
And this guy was a fucking sick fucking pedophile.
Yeah, and I'll tell you too, Outlaw, and the viewers, if Wes Watson was ever in a level 4 back in the days, GP, he would be the one in American Me that got his face shoved in the flour.
No, not the one who got stabbed. Oh, hold on, Raza del Sol, not the one who got stabbed. The guy who got the goody that got involved with the boxing and had to watch his homie get stabbed. Him, that guy. That's Enrique Sandoval.
Yep. Man, but I'm saying Wes Watson. You remember in the movie where the dude's in the kitchen and he goes, "Man, Holmes, you bring the food, we'll bring the bitches."
Yeah.
And he brought the food, and then dude's like, "Well, where's the bitch?" And they turn him around, and they go, "Punk, you are the bitch." Yeah. And they shove his face in some flour, and then they put that big old Christmas tree right up his fucking culito, man. That would be Wes Watson right there, bud. Trust me.
Yeah.
That size, all that size he's got, and all this screaming, that don't mean nothing, man.
Okay.
That don't mean nothing.
So we're gonna be winding this down, guys. So if you guys got any questions for Brant, shoot him right now.
Yeah, shoot him.
That way he can answer your questions.
Shoot him. Yep. Yep, shoot them, folks. But yeah, it's a trip to hear these dudes. Let them tell it they're all that and a bag of chips. I just, you know, I don't know, man. Like I said, I ain't gonna talk nothing I ain't supposed to talk.
They're all
I keep mine real. I like talking about prison corruption, the corruption of CDCR, how they abuse y'all's money. You know, and these dudes that get on these sites and tell you these boogeyman stories and then try to ask you for some money. That's crap, man. That's crap. Or they put their fucking cash app on the bottom line kicker or something. Like, you're paying a dude for bum stories, or it might be a good prison story and he just put his own narrative to it.
Yep.
I don't know.
Okay, so we have a question from Miggy Does It. Before your incarceration, Brant, did you ever visit Southern California? And if so, what areas?
Never.
No?
Never visited Southern California, bro. I hardly ever been out of Sacramento, but maybe twice or three times in my life. And then here's a even worse thing. Is in Sacramento, I hardly ever been out of a 5-mile radius, a squared 5 miles. So, you know, I come from the lower end side where we didn't have much money or nothing, you know, and we had to play marbles with rocks.
Okay, so we have a question.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
Yeah. All right, let me call back real quick.
Back. I'll ask him right now when he calls back. I believe he's in administrative segregation, and I want to say New Folsom, but it's basically the shoe. I mean, administrative segregation. You know what I mean? Behavior modification units. It's all the same, except obviously the shoe is indeterminate.
Hello, Moto.
They just found a new way of keeping people in the shoes.
You have a prepaid call from an incarcerated individual at the California State Prison, Paprika, California. This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. To accept this call, say or dial 5 now. Thank you for using Global Tel Link.
All right.
Okay, so we had two questions. One was what shoe are you currently in? And I told him you're in administrative segregation, right, in New Folsom?
Yeah, I'm in New Folsom Ad Seg. I've been here for 5 years.
Right? It's basically the same as the shoe at Pelican Bay, right?
Yeah, it's the same program. It's an Ad Seg. The shoe in Pelican Bay is it's the same program, the same shit I get here, I got up there, but it's a different location, that's all.
Okay, and then we had another question from Rosso del Sol. They wanted to know what you knew about the individuals who committed suicide, who were labeled whistleblowers. And we talked about this before, Rodrigo Valentino and Kevin Steele. You personally knew Steele.
Yeah, I knew Steele. I personally knew Steele. If you go on me and Outlaw's, what is it? Second video or first video?
Rats and
I can't remember,
Whistleblowers.
but I did a really good. Right. Yeah, we did a really good one on that, man. It's really in depth. We ain't got a whole bunch of time here, but check that out, homeboy, and you'll see. So, you ready to wind this one down, buddy?
Yes. Miggy Does It.
Okay.
Miggy Does It. I am going to do a video on that, and you guys are going to fucking trip out, man. You guys are going to trip out what I know on that whole subject. They're asking about me. They want me to do a video on the behavior modification that they were doing in the prisons. Basically how it's connected to the MK Ultra program. And I'm telling them, like, the shit I know, like, dude, fuck. The shit I know and how Mundo's related to it is gonna fucking blow your mind, dude.
Right.
Like, I mean, it's gonna fucking, like, a lot of historical events are gonna fucking click in together, and, like, the allegations that are made against other individuals, how they're gonna link into it. It's fucking crazy, bro. Like, Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll tell you this. I got to do it. I've been wanting to, but I really feel like people aren't ready to fucking what I'm gonna lay on them, dude. I have a,
Man.
I believe it's a stolen letter from the then head of the Department of California Departments of Corrections, that Raymond Pecuniary, where he admits that this fucking behavior modification program was to fucking convert all the revolutionary and radicals and basically convert them into fucking spies.
Ain't that something? That's
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah, we'll have to do something on that, and we get really in depth to it, because that's not something you don't want to hit the surface. You
No,
want to
no,
hit
man.
that thing in depth.
No, for
Right,
sure.
right. That's not surface level there, buddy. That's some in deep depth shit, and even the modern day times of that, man, I could really tell you some shit that's gonna fucking trip you guys out. So, Outlaw, everybody, I send my best. Thank you for letting me get on your platform, bro. Tim K, I hope you're listening, and everybody who's chimed in, we send ours, right? And go over to Solid Behind Blue Eyes, check it out, subscribe. We join the conversation, man. We do lives, me and my wife. Outlaw, thank you, bro. And you guys hit the like button. You guys like hearing what we're talking. We're not talking no PC rat shit over here. No SNY shit over here, man. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I guess he hung up on us, guys. Yeah, you guys will fucking trip out on that. Miggy does it. If you Google 2020 microchip implant in Pelican Bay inmates, it should pop up. It should pop up. If not, and just in one of my videos, leave me a comment and I'll send you the link to it. Oh, search BlackRock? Yeah. Yeah, for sure. That's him calling us back. If you guys watch a fucking American Cholo, or as I call him, American House Cholo, he has he has a video where he goes shooting. He goes doing target shooting, and if you look, he's going shooting, and it's like some fucking Black Rock fucking training. These dudes are like ex-military, and they're like practicing counterinsurgency. And it just tripped me out that these fucking military and law enforcement invite a guy who allegedly went to jail for shooting at law enforcement to a shooting event. And if you look, it's like some Black Rock fucking type shit.
All
Okay.
right,
Oh
man.
shit! I thought you hung up on
What's it?
purpose. So it was an accident.
No, it hung up itself or something. I don't know.
Oh yeah, Hate Ashbury. Yeah, Miss D for sure. Dude, I highly recommend you guys, if you guys ever read oh shit, the book called Chaos, and it's with Charles Manson and the CIA and mind control. You guys will fucking trip out on that book. It's fucking well researched, man. I believe the guy did an interview. Tom O'Neill. Tom O'Neill did an interview with Joe Rogan on it. Fucking crazy, dude. And what's crazy, if you look, his parole officer only fucking dealt with Charles Manson, and his parole officer is like some fucking specialist in penology who was actually studying how to control gangs or groups with the use of drugs while he was fucking um, watching Charles Manson. And that's crazy that Charles Manson used drugs to manipulate a bunch of people to go kill people. You there, right, Brent?
That's crazy.
Oh yeah,
Yep,
Kathy
yeah, I'm here,
O'Brien
bud.
too. Yeah. Oh, what about? Have any of you guys ever heard of the Symbionese Liberation Army and Donald DeFreeze?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the one you guys need to watch, man. That's what you guys.
That's the one with Patty Hearst, right?
Yeah. That. Buddy.
Yeah.
Oh, well, okay, guys. I'll fucking lay it out for you guys right now. I'll tell you guys right now. How many of you guys are familiar with the fucking prison boogeyman fairy tale that Muno Mendoza killed? Was it Ronnie Woody Reyes, right, in Bakersfield in 1975, right? October of
Okay.
1975. Well, Woody Reyes is actually the individual who leaked to the press the information that exposed the connection between the prison system and the Symbionese Liberation Army. And
Oh,
a
This call
couple
and your
months after
telephone
him being
number will be
paroled,
monitored
he
and recorded.
mysteriously gets killed by Mundo Mendoza in Bakersfield. And Mundo Mendoza was in the same mind control program as the individual who was the head of the Symbionese Liberation Army. So it's fucking crazy
Wow.
that this guy who exposed,
That is.
who blew the whistle, ended up being murdered by another individual who was in the same mind control unit as fucking Donald DeFreeze.
That's crazy as fuck. Wow. Imagine that.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
gets deep, bro.
yeah, it gets deep. People don't realize that.
No. No, they still use it to this very day. In prison, they still use it to this very day, man. And it's not as prevalent. It's not as obvious. It's very subtle. They still use it to this fucking day, man.
Oh, how do you think they build these indictments? Yeah. They let a couple of informants.
Right?
They let a couple of informants out, and they run around, run amok, claiming to be some prison boogeyman shot caller, and they get a bunch of youngsters who believe their hype, commit crimes, sell drugs for them, and then they just turn around in a few months. Yeah, I'll fucking blow the whistle on all you guys. You go to court and be like, shit, the guy who told us to commit the crimes is the guy blowing the whistle.
Yep. And if you've got any proceeds or houses or whatever, like on Burnham, they let that dude keep all the shit he claims he bought with illicit money. You know, they did, and it's like, god damn, dude. You know, when you got a guys going around doing all that and then fucking snitching, and they get to go home, and the guy that they're snitching on had nothing to do. They didn't pull the trigger.
Exactly.
They didn't do nothing.
Exactly.
It's like, what the fuck, dude?
Miss D.
That's the system. That's the system.
Yeah. Miss D, you are correct. It is Bobby Boussalet and Tex Watson that actually were the ones running the game. But it's very interesting because when you follow most of the Manson girls or most of the Manson family, most of them have links or were believed to be undercover informants. So what I'm trying to say is that the Manson family wasn't just Charles Manson. There was other undercovers in the group that were helping hype him up to influence other weaker members into doing shit. When you look into the SLA, the same thing with the SLA. The SLA was supposedly a prison revolutionary group that was used to discredit black convicts, but it was only, I believe, like one or two black guys in there. The overwhelming guys in the individuals were all white, and most of them were all known informants.
Wow.
I mean, you'd be surprised when you look, when you look at like these so-called terrorist fucking cases, it's usually made up of majority informants and only a small handful of individuals who are actually going to partake into whatever terrorist act they claim. Yeah, no, I mean,
right.
Yeah, your lady made a comment claiming that it wasn't Charles Manson that was really influencing everybody, but no, yeah, for sure.
Right.
These groups.
Right. No, she knows.
Yeah,
she knows a lot about that.
Yeah. These groups, I tell you, look into the SLA. All you have to do is Google SLA and the CIA, and you'll see that, it was basically created. This group was created inside the California prison system and then let loose on the street to terrorize us.
Right. Yeah, there's no doubt about that, man.
Yeah. Yeah, we're going to have to do a whole thing on that. We're going to have to talk about the whole Marion experiment and everything.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, Stanford experiment. We're talking the Stanford prison experiment here. We're talking Marion. We're talking Guantanamo Bay. Shoot, we're gonna be touching on a lot of subjects there.
Yeah, that's a good video. That's in-depth shit too, man. But hell yeah.
Yeah, Miss D. I think Charles Manson was a patsy, just like Oswald. I totally believe Charles Manson was just a patsy. He fit the perfect role of the guy to take the fall. And well, we'll talk about that next time, because I'm gonna have to start making dinner. So we'll wind this down. I just want to thank everybody for coming through. Look, we got 8 people in the chat right now and 8 likes. Same as last time.
That's right.
Yeah.
Get on, folks. Thanks for joining the conversation.
Oh, Miggy does it. We're going to have to talk about that too, about the music industry and how it's related to the government. We're going to have to do like a 6-hour live there.
That's a good one.
Yeah, guys. So thanks everyone for joining us. I hope everyone has a wonderful evening and enjoy the rest of your work week. And thanks for tapping in. Two Scoops, you want to let them know where they can find you on your channel?
Oh yeah, yeah. Solid behind blue eyes, folks. Come on in, check us out, subscribe, like, join the conversation. Me and Outlaw start doing more of these videos with you guys. And but yeah, no, thank you for participating, man, and having me on here too. You know.
Yeah, you want to do one on Friday?
Yeah, we can do one
Yeah,
Friday. Absolutely.
we'll do a Friday,
Absolutely.
5 o'clock, guys. So tap in on Friday, 5 o'clock.
You guys heard it here. Get
All right,
your
guys.
popcorn ready.
Get your popcorn ready. Get your fucking root beer. Order your Dominoes. And with that said, everybody, a clinch fist salute and salutations.
That's right. We send our best to the worthy.